Kia ora everybody and welcome back to the Good Day Matrix. My name is Daz and I have the absolute privilege of being here today at Mai FM with Tegan. I'm so excited, so thank you so much for having us today, Tegan.
No, all good. Thank you for finally coming through.
Yeah, I know. It's taken us a while. To intro Tegan is a breakfast announcer on Mai FM. She has a degree in communication and media studies. She was on Celebrity Treasure Island and is a judge on 60 Seconds. She's a mental health advocate, which I just take my hat off to you and all the work that you're doing and the conversations that you're starting. And she had the absolute bravery and nerve to step in the ring for Fight for Life, which I just, again, bow down to. I think that is absolutely stunning. She's an epic role model for young girls right throughout Aotearoa, and she's fronting those hard conversations, which are not easy to do when you're in the public eye as well and having to manage so much. So thank you so much for having us today.
No worries.
And I'm so excited to learn from you. But we at the Good Day Matrix, we talk about wellbeing from 5 different pillars: body, mind, identity, community and environment. And we truly believe that there's a misconception that if you take care of body really well and you kind of do mind it a little bit, that we've got it under control and we've sorted ourselves out. But actually knowing who we are and knowing where we're connecting and where we're contributing to and what we're putting into the environment and what the environment does to us, like all those things matter, and we often don't have enough time and we push them all down. So we're trying through these conversations to highlight how important those conversations are and how differently we all come at them all, because there's no one answer, there's no one way.
No, not at all.
That's what we're here to learn from you today about what you do and the different things that go on. So we'll start with identity. So tell us about your whakapapa and where your whānau are from.
Okay, so I'm 26 years old. I was born in Wellington. I am an army brat. So my dad just finished up a couple years ago he did 38 years in the New Zealand Army.
Wow.
He and my mother, they met in the army. Mum only did about 2 years in the army though, it wasn't for her. But Dad stayed in, and so we kind of had this lifestyle. It's a family, me, Mum, Dad, my older sister April, and we moved every couple of years because we're army brats. So, you know, born in Wellington, grew up for a stint in Papakura in Auckland, moved to Palmy, moved to Tonga overseas, Nuku'alofa, then came back to Palmy, then I lived in the States for a little bit, then back to Palmy, and then here I am, now I'm in Auckland. I've been in Auckland for about 8 years now, and I came up here to study, and I've been here ever since, and that's where I've been able to sort of start my career. I would say on my whakapapa, if we're talking about my father's side, we're kind of one of those bitsy families where there's always different bits of European in there, but I believe it was my great-great-grandfather, or maybe great-great-great-grandfather, came over from Wales, so we're very Welsh influenced from that side. So that's where the last name Yorwarth comes from. So spelt Yorwarth, but pronounced Yorwarth. So we've got a very heavy influence in that, and I do believe anyone with that last name is quite closely related to us. Like we're a dying breed, if you will. Yeah. And then obviously my mother's side of the family, her mum came over from England, but her father was Māori. My iwi is Te O Pauri and my hapu is Ngāti Kuri. We've had a very interesting sort of upbringing around it though, because mum's father, my koro, left when she was only 2 years old, so she never grew up with that sort of Māori identity and has discovered it as she's got older. And so me and my older sister as well have kind of been on our own journey, so we're all at sort of different places and finding our I don't know, just delving more into our whakapapa and where we come from. I've made one trip to my whenua, which was a really amazing experience as well. But, you know, we're all on that journey, and I love seeing, like, I've been trying to learn how to speak te reo very much at the beginning of my journey, but, like, you know, just learning more about te ao Māori and feeling empowered by that being my community and where I'm from. And I love that both me, my sister, and my mother are at different stages in that journey, but we all are really, like, trying to get the cogs turning so that the next generation of our whānau, you know, hopefully one day if I do have kids or something, that we can then pass that knowledge on. So, because I say something about it takes it's only one generation maybe to break it, but it takes like 3 for it to bring back. So hopefully we can start that journey again. But that's kind of my background. So I think just from the, I have a real sense of, I guess, whānau from being an army brat as well. There's something about being an army brat, and for anyone who is one, they'll know that like, you've got a bunch of aunties and uncles that aren't really your aunties and uncles, but they're all your parents' best friends. And when your parents go away on deployments, other people come and look after you. I've got another set of what I call my parents, my uncle and auntie that looked after me. Like, apparently when I was 10 weeks old, my dad went away for 6 months.
Wow.
Poor mum had a 10-week-old and a 4-year-old and was trying to juggle that. So like so many people from that army community come in and help out. And so it's been really cool being brought up like that, and big family. I think I'm just discovering my mum's got freaking like 9 siblings, but I only thought she had 4, you know, just like one of those kind of families. But it's pretty cool. But I do love that aspect. I think I'm very firm in who I am as a person, but finding out where I've come from, I love that that's like a developing journey.
Yeah. And it's so important to give yourself space to learn, because I feel like it's the same with the sustainability conversation, right?
Yes.
It's same with language. We're all on different journeys, and some people often are like, there's judgment around, but you should be further along, like you should be living this better. And
not at all.
It's awesome that you're on the journey, whatever part of that scale, right?
It's so important to like, no matter what point someone's at, you tautoko them on that journey. And like also on the other end of it is like, if you're a little bit further ahead than someone else, you don't gatekeep.
No.
And just like I wouldn't expect someone to gatekeep, like if they were a lot further ahead than me. So yeah, it's cool though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how important is it for you to make sure that identity is present and living every day in your life?
Well, I think if I was just to think about my career, for instance, I work here at Mai FM, and like I'm on my own whakapapa journey, and it's really cool learning while I've been here at Mai FM what Mai FM represents as well, and the whakapapa of this station has been really important for me to learn as well. And I think people kind of assume we're a brown station, and I mean in some ways, yeah, I guess so. We're trying to be have really what's the word? We're always on the front foot when it comes to embracing Te Reo Māori, whether we're embracing our Pacific Island community, Samoan, Tonga, Niue and Cook Island, whatever it is. And I think what the one thing with Mai FM, although we're not intentionally trying to have brown announcers on, whether they come from some kind of background, it's because naturally and historically that's where anyone of colour has ended up when it comes to announcing. And that's the community we're representing. I think it's really important for our audience to see them on a stage like that. But by all means, we're not a brown station. We're for everybody. Yeah. But I think it's really important when we don't see as many brown faces in media that there is a space where we can at least hold a little bit of space for all of us. And I think it's cool. We've got the most diverse lineup here, I think, in New Zealand. I think so. On our breakfast show just right now, myself and Brooke, we're both Māori. We've got Fame, he's Māori and Tongan. We've got Randy, who's Filipino. We've got Kaylee, that's Māori. We think about our staff outside, everyone's either Māori or Sa, and like it's so cool that we're all so diverse here. Yeah. And I think so knowing my own identity has been really important for me, because I'm a piece of the pie here at Mai FM that is trying to represent a really diverse community, and I think I have to know what I'm about in order to like do my job well. But even just on a day-to-day basis, like personally, I think the job I do, because I have to put myself on display all the time, I think, well, it's like me with a bit of GST. That's what I like to say. Like, it's just like a slightly amplified version of my own self that we put on air. It's definitely me though. I think it would be really hard to do a job like that if I was still trying to figure out who I was. Yeah. And so I think it's been really important for me that I've kind of been like catapulted into it, because I started quite young. I think I started on Mai FM on air at maybe 22, and I'm 26 now. So it's 4 years. Yeah. But at 22, you don't know, am I allowed to swear?
Go for it.
You don't know what the fuck's going on. You don't know who the fuck you are.
No.
But now it's been cool that people have been able to see that journey for me. But that was very important as I started. Okay, I've got to figure out what my values are, what I believe in, surround myself with supportive people so that I can actually do this job, because it's not for the faint-hearted. No. It's definitely not the hardest job in the world, don't get me wrong. Like, we do have a saying here, like, someone will get stressed out and we're like, did anyone die? Are we saving lives? No, we're not. We're a radio station. This is meant to be fun. We're all meant to be having a good time and supporting each other. So just like making sure that that's at the forefront of the conversation. But
I love that. And there's huge research as well around that role modelling and children and youth seeing who's here and who's leading the way. They need those role models. They need to see that there's pathways, and they need to see you guys living those best lives and living authentically in those roles, so that there's pathways, and that those role models may not necessarily be in their community or in their home yet, but if they can see those pathways, it's a really beautiful thing you guys are contributing to hope and to changing some of the decisions that can be made as well, but also just showing that you guys shine. Like it's epic that the conversations our office listen to you almost every day. Like it's just awesome to sit and listen just to the natural conversations that come with the joy and the heart. And I think it's really, really important to not have to explain who your presenters are.
No, that's exactly it. It's like, I think we have to, there's a sense of, it's a responsibility to kind of be a bit vulnerable, so that people actually do buy into who you are. Because I think there are some people that maybe on some of their shows they just have to play a character, and I think here at Mai FM we're always like, nah, we don't play characters, we are who we are with GST, but we try be as honest as we can and as real as we can, because it's meant to feel like, you know, it's just a few friends sitting at a table and you're a part of the conversation, as opposed to we're having a conversation but you're not let in, which some radio shows in the past have been like that. But I think the nature of it is changing now. I think with things like social media, we're a lot more accessible. And so people do feel like they're our friend from listening to us every day. So I think it's just, real important. That's like the main thing of us being ourselves on here.
Yeah. So we'll move to body. So do you have any activities or routines that you do each day or in the week that are your non-negotiables that you do? Yeah,
I have to gym. So gymming for me is, I do a bit of boxing. I try to do that once or twice a week. And I also have just started at a CrossFit gym. Don't ask me why. I just gave it a go. It looked fun. My partner is really into it. He's been doing it for years. And being around him and watching him compete, I was like, oh God, that looks really fun and empowering to just lift some weights and do some crazy gymnastics. So I started that maybe like 2 or 3 months ago with a mate, and I'm really enjoying that. So I've been getting into that sort of like weightlifting side of stuff. Definitely very much at the beginning of that, but it's so cool. CrossFit's been a really cool area of just gymming and exercise where there's just a constant goal. There's always something to get better at. Same with boxing's a little bit similar too, but I'm loving the idea of feeling stronger and as opposed to skinnier or whatever that may be. And I've had the last couple of years, I'm trying to sort of reframe the way I think when it comes to exercise, about how it makes me feel rather than the way it makes me look, chasing the feeling, not the image. Those are I definitely try box at least once a week, and definitely try, even with the busiest schedules, go to my CrossFit gym at least 3 times a week. So try exercise in some capacity 4 times a week. That's like the only way that I can stay sane to do this job.
And so I imagine your schedule can get pretty full on and hectic. So when your schedule is like loaded, how do you on a tough day or on a busy day, busy week, prioritize that?
It's one of those ones. Sometimes I just have to go, I'll go tomorrow. Because there's days, like I had a day last week where I had work and then I had meetings till lunch, and then straight after lunch I had to hit another appointment at 1, and then I was doing an emceeing job and I had to be there by 5. So there was really only a 2-hour bracket, and I just think, if I'm going to stress myself out by having to get to the gym, we'll do it tomorrow. It's no biggie. And I think that's another thing I've had to learn, is not guilt tripping myself into being like, well, you didn't go yesterday, and getting into the real, the inner monologue, just really negative self-talk. But that's such a fluid journey, like still learning how to not do that. But some days you are busy, but it's important to just know, like, it's just one day. It's just one day of the week that it's not going to happen, but it's all right.
And a habit doesn't get broken of missing one day.
Exactly.
It's if it's a few weeks and you're like,
I'm a bit lazy now.
That's going to be harder to come back from.
Yeah.
Are there any activities that you used to do that you would like to start again one day in terms of a physical exercise journey?
I think I would love to get into like walking or even jogging again. I did it for a little bit. I got really into it. I was doing some stuff with ASICs and trying to do 2 5Ks a week. And it was really easy when I was training for boxing, because running's really good for, the breathing and stuff in boxing. So I was doing that and, twice a week doing 5Ks. And I thought, God, I never thought I could run 5Ks. But then I just got injured in my calf and then all this kind of stuff. And then you stop. And now I hate running. And so, but I think it's like a hump I need to get over.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get back into that, even if it is just walking to start with.
Yeah.
And trying to do, because I have friends that tell me like, yeah, I chuck on like an awesome podcast and then go for a walk. And I'm like, why have I never thought of that? I get bored of my music and I get frustrated and then I want to go home. So I think that's definitely something I'd like to get back into.
Nice. And the thing I think a message for humans in general is exercise shouldn't be a punishment.
No,
like
it's not a chore.
It shouldn't
be
be something you're like,
yeah.
because you know that's going to be the first thing you don't want to do. Like,
Yeah.
you know, oh, I'm busy. Nah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to run tonight. So it's find what works for you. And like your friend's exactly right. I could not do any exercise if I didn't have music in my ears.
Oh no, not at all.
And my friends can go for a 10K run with nothing, and I'm like,
Yeah, sorry?
My internal monologue would be like, oh, honestly, just stop. Like, you're not even running very fast, you know, and you just get to a point. But if I can be distracted, I can keep going. But running's not for everyone, and sometimes we just set this goal like, oh, but she did this, so I have to do it.
Yeah.
Find what
works for you,
right? Yeah. Or at least try. And if you've never tried it, you know, you could say you hate running, but do you? Do you really, or did you just never try? Now, you said around mind, you said that radio is not for the faint-hearted, and I thoroughly agree. And being in the public eye must be pretty tough and come with some stress and overwhelm, and probably a lot of anxiety layered in there as well. So what are some of your coping mechanisms around mind to keep yourself in sort of a really positive mindset, or what do you do when all those things are sort of crashing down? What are your strategies?
I think the filter we sort of use here for a lot of us announcers here at Mai, and one that I've sort of latched onto, is that when you do, there's always going to be some kind of discourse online, whether you're involved in it or not. And when you do get hate comments or awful comments and stuff, it's the loud minority. So it's like there's a lot of people who are listening in or online or whatever that are not commenting at all. No. Those are generally the people that are fine with you. And you will get a lot of positive messages, and it's always that one. You can get 100 positive, but you get one negative, and that's the one you latch onto. And unfortunately, we're only human, and sometimes that is what it is. But I think as soon as it's one of my bosses once told me, you know, it's a loud minority. It's those people that are saying it they're not representing or reflecting who are actually listening to you every day, because if they were, then you would see it all the time, but it only happens every now and then. Recently, though, we have had a bit more, just with different changes that have happened at Mai and stuff like that, there has been a bit more of a, I don't know, conversation, I guess, about it, which has been just another challenge. You know, new levels, new devils, you kind of just have to approach it again. But I think just like it's that whole thing of just, you know, looking after yourself, your boundaries. Okay, this is getting a bit much. Stay offline for a little bit. It's not the end of the world, and you know, no one's actually going to notice if you're offline for a little bit. But also just like not engaging in it. Sometimes though, I do poke a bit of fun, and I'll like, I don't know, someone will send me a horrible message, so I just screenshot it and post it up and leave their name in it. And then like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, well, you know, keep that energy. Yeah. And that's kind of because I was sick of just letting it go because it was affecting me. But then that feels a little bit petty sometimes. So other times, I've seen some stuff lately, and I'll just comment on it, but I'll be real positive, and then they'll be like, oh yes, sis, I agree. Like, cool, awesome, love you, Tegs. And it's like, oh, just like that. They like just change their tune just like that. So I think just knowing that it's like, would they say it to your face? Like knowing that like I can go home and, you know, I've got awesome friends. I live with an awesome group of housemates. I've got a really supportive family. I've got a really supportive boyfriend. That's the circle that matters. It doesn't really, unless it's like telling me there's a million people texting in saying you need to get off here, we all hate you. Yeah. I've still got a job. Like, I'm still employed. My bosses still like me. I'm still having a good time with my colleagues. So like all those, like the ones that are like in close knit with me, as long as those are working well, that's all that matters. I think all the outside stuff is just noise, and like something else will happen and tomorrow they'll forget about it. So you kind of, but it's like I said, it's like, it's only something I've learned on the job. Yeah. People can say as many things as they can to you, but until you're actually going through it and experiencing it and going through the waves, that's how you kind of learn from it. I think a lot of it I've learned from my own lived experience as opposed to just taking advice and run with it. Yeah. I think I had to make the mistakes along the way and given into it before I've actually realised not to do that.
Yeah. And I think Brené Brown puts it really well in terms of that emotional pain hurts just as bad as physical pain. And often we down the emotional, like, you'll be right, just, just ignore it. Actually, some of the stuff
you got to deal with it.
It really hurts, so you have to move yourself through it. You can't keep pushing it to the side. But she also talks about having a little post-it and writing the names of people who matter on your post-it.
So
and that's the only opinions you listen to. So all these other voices and stuff, you just go, hold on a minute, well, they, you already know it anyway, but are they one of my key support people who I trust to give me honest feedback?
And sound advice, Even, I think it might have been my dad who told me sometimes another filter, he'll tell me like, if I get stressed out about something, is this going to matter in a month? Like you can, or even just writing everything down that you think about and literally looking at it the next day. Is this still an issue? Probably not. Most of the time it's not. Look at it in a week. Are these still issues? No, probably not. It's just you get caught up in that heat of the moment. Yeah.
My mum gave me that advice when texting. This is well before your time, but when texting first came out, and something would happen, and you'd go to text back, and you're frustrated, and you're going to say something dumb, and she'd go, wait till the morning. See if you're still in the morning, and you'd wake up and be like, oh, I'm just not going to reply.
Yeah, who cares?
Whereas if I'd done that message in the evening, I'd probably be
bigger than being her.
Shit fight by the time I wake up. Shouldn't have done that. So around communities, we talk a lot about communities being literally anything. So knitting groups to, rugby teams and everything in between. So tell us about some of the communities that you're a part of.
I'd say I've got my boxing community. So I've been with them for, a couple of years now. I've got a couple of gyms that I sort of associate myself with, and my coach and all those that I've trained with in a fight team. And it's because it's quite strange, like boxing, although you're in the ring on your own, it's very much a team sport on like in the lead up. So I'd say that's like almost like a family for me. And I've got my new community at my CrossFit gym. I signed up with one of my best mates, and we were able to sort of infiltrate a space, which was really fun. And they said we're the loudest, I think, a few new members that they've had in quite some time. I've also got like my community here at work. Like there's a few of us that all literally met when we were 18 starting uni together, and 4 of us now work at my FM alone that all went to uni together. So it's quite funny. We've all known each other for the last 8 years and we're all in the same spot. So there's like that kind of work community. I have sort of a community within just female announcers. Some of the girls like Sharon Casey, Kay Lee, Cara Rickard, that have all been sort of mentors and real awesome support for me as I've gone through the career, because I think announcers have each other's back, but like it's a very unique experience to be a female announcer as well, because we go through different, situations, I guess. And it's nice to have that sort of support network. I've got my whānau, as always. That's always been a massive community for me. I don't think there's anyone in my whānau that hasn't gassed me up to just always try my best or do what I can. And but yeah, I'd say those are probably the main ones for me. And especially like the boxing community has been really important for me in the last year or so, just like especially training for that fight that I did, Fight for Life. But even it was a really cool outlet, and just, I don't know, whenever I was feeling stressed and stuff like that, learning how to box is so empowering. And punching stuff's not for everyone, and punching people is not for everyone. Or actually getting punched, I should say, is not for everyone. But I found it a really awesome outlet for me. And so that's probably been one of the pillars for me this year. Yeah.
And it's a good message as well to try something new.
That you think you couldn't do.
I've always
grown up not sporty, very uncoordinated. You could probably ask my sister. She was the sporty one. She did and excelled in sport. Like anything she picked up, she was good at it. She's really good at netball, really good at volley. I'm pretty sure she runs, she gyms, she does it all. Whereas that was not me. I was more Mum would say I was more the artier one. I did like art in school, and I did music and stuff like that. So that was never something that I wanted to get into. But when I think I got into this job, there was sort of like, I need to start looking after myself, looking healthy. Yeah. If I'm going to be planted on a billboard somewhere, I think to avoid myself feeling insecure or self-conscious, I should make sure that I'm looking after myself and being as healthy as I can. So I feel good when I'm plastered on something like that, or on a TV ad, or whatever it might be. As sort of niche as that problem might sound, that's kind of what got me into it, I think, when on the proper journey. And especially with boxing, when I first started, I thought I looked cool, and then you'd look back at a video and you're like, you look like an idiot. But working on it, and just that practice, and like getting to a point where I look at a video now and I'm like, oh, I look mean, but not that that's what it's about, right? It's about how it's been making me feel. But knowing that I used to be kind of shit at it, and now I've gotten so much better, just like you can, it just shows, like, I think, and my biggest message with the boxing journey has been like, oh, you can, if I can do that, anyone can do anything. If my unco ass can go from that to actually looking like I can throw a punch properly, I think literally anyone could do anything. But that's why even when I started the CrossFit stuff, God, like I honestly get so much shit like from some of my friends like, oh yeah, you bloody try anything. I'm like, yeah, God loves a trier.
Yeah.
So, and it looks like something that I could probably never do, but now I'm trying it and like, I'm like, oh, I can do it. If I just keep working at it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So that's what's been really exciting for me with that. Yeah.
It's a good thing also that you have become confident in yourself
Yeah.
to do it, if that makes sense, because if we continue feeling shit when we're doing something, we don't necessarily keep going, but you've found the bits you're really great at, you know,
Yeah.
like, so it might have been a particular style of punch,
Yeah.
but you're like, every time I do that, that's the thing
Yeah.
I nail. So that's
Yeah.
my, you know, that's my thing.
And
so
look,
it
I'm not
doesn't-
trying to become a professional boxer, God no. But it's nice to know that I'm like not terrible at it now.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's the thing. I'm not terrible at it. And the same with CrossFit. God, I'm not going to go to nationals anytime soon, but I love being a part of it, and I love the support that people give me there. And even my coach today, one of the coaches texted me and he goes, better see you at 4:30. I'm like, God, I was like, I'm so busy today, but might see you a bit later. He's like, haven't seen you all week. You better get in here, you know. But it's because as soon as I'm there, he's just like, what are we going to try today? Is there anything you're working on? What are we going to do? And I love that. It makes me feel a little bit less, is complacent the right word? Like always just being on my toes with something. Yeah.
And you're probably bringing him joy too.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
hopefully.
probably, you know, like I think we discredit what we bring in, and it leads us beautifully into environment now as well. But we discredit sometimes what we give to others. We kind of think they're giving, you know, our coaches are giving to us, or our teachers, whatever. We're actually giving a lot to them as well. So it leads us beautifully into the environment that we create around ourselves.
Yeah.
And just meeting you today, like the energy you bring immediately, like hypes us up. Like, yeah, this is going to be fun. And, you know, people's energy, again, we don't pay enough attention to what we put out. So talk to us about sort of the energy that you bring and the values that you have in any environment that you're in. So what are your non-negotiable values?
I think I have to have myself, like place myself in an environment where I feel a constant circle of support, but that does not go one way. I need to, what I expect from others, I need to give back as well. So I think I found myself in a place at, you know, the ripe age of 26, and I feel like I'm so old, but I'm not, I'm really not. But like all the friends I have, even, I don't have to question their support wherever, or like, even if it's just the tiniest things. Like my friend and I were talking the other day about how whenever your friend posts on Instagram, you go, yeah, you look hot as, you look beautiful, like, whoa, and you know, always doing that. And it seems so minuscule, but it's actually something like you're always just in that constant gassing up. And me and my mum have got a really good relationship where we're always gassing each other up. Like if I want to sit there and bitch about my day at work, my mum gets to do that with me too. It doesn't go one way. And my partner too, he's really cool with that. So I think it's just like I want my people to be really supportive, and I should never question their support, as they should never have to question mine either. Like it's just, it goes both ways, and that's how I think everyone just stays close. And like, that's like, and if your friends are feeling a little bit down, or you're feeling a little bit down, you know there's people to pick you back up, because, you know, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, but it's like, I don't know, I don't feel ever scared that I'm going to be alone. I always feel like I've got people around me, and that's because I know I'm putting in a lot into relationships and my job and things around me. So surely I should get stuff back. That whole like law of attraction, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Manifest today.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Write it in the journal every night.
But it also, like I said, I mean, it shines through. I mean, you didn't know us from a bar of soap as we wandered in here today, and that shined straight away, that you cared about who we were.
Of course,
that it was this really nice, you know, like you wanted to know us as much as we want to know you, sort of thing. And it's not, it was certainly not a one-way road. So I take my hat off to you, because not a lot of people can achieve creating that environment around themselves and actually seeing their values literally shine and happen. You know, a lot of us are like, you know, integrity is really important to me and but you often don't see that living.
You don't see it in practice, right?
And happening.
And that's the thing, is like, I can talk, but I actually have to walk the walk as well. And I think I've sort of met a lot of people in this, and just even this industry alone, and I've always wanted to make sure that I'm approachable, or how I seem on air is how I am in real life. If I don't think I would be like that in real life, I won't do it on air. It's got to be consistent across all boards, and I never want anyone, whether it's someone like a colleague wanting to hit me up about something at work, or whether it's just a random listener that maybe wants to say hello to me, I never want them to feel like they can't.
Yeah.
And I think that's been really important for me over the last few years, especially as, you know, our show's grown a little bit and I feel like a few more people might know me and stuff. Is like, even if I catch someone's eyes when I'm at the mall or something, I'll still smile. Even if it's just on accident or they do recognize me, always just smile, because then it's like, okay, they've taken something positive away. Because my worst nightmare is someone thinking, oh God, she was awful.
Yeah.
That's my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And maybe that comes down to me just like wanting a bit of validation and not like caring too much about what people think. But I think it's important. And I think it's probably the key to success, like over a long period of time, is to be really good to people around you, and they'll be good to you back.
Yeah. But you don't know what that smile did for that person either. Even if they don't know you from a bar of soap. Yeah. You could just be a random and you smile at someone that could have just turned their day around. Yeah,
it's either a smile or it's a wink. Sometimes depending, I'll catch someone, I'll just wink at them.
Just someone like,
like, who is that? That girl just winked at me.
Yeah. What message is she sending me? Yeah. I love that. I'm going to try and do that. So final question around environment is, what is your favourite place and why?
My favourite place, I think it's never really a place for me, it's who I'm with. I think that would probably, I hope that doesn't sound too corny, but like, if I'm with my best mates, I feel good. It doesn't matter where we are, or if I'm with my boyfriend, because we do long distance, he lives in Wellington, so whenever we're together, I always feel real at home and at peace. But also, my parents, they've just moved out to Papamoa, and although that's not a home we grew up in, my parents are really good at making anywhere they are a home. So I think just like having that sort of a place to centre myself has been really awesome. So I think that's probably like those are kind of the areas I feel, that's the probably only physical place where I feel like my most safe in and my most myself. But other than that, it's honestly to do with the people, not with the location. It's always the company,
That's awesome. Yeah. Which comes right back into your values to start with, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's
pretty much.
So our last topic of the day is portion distortion, and we talk to everyone about this because it doesn't matter if you are in your 20s, in your 60s, if you have kids, if you don't, if you're working, if you're not, like, it wouldn't matter what's on your plate. We all struggle with time. Yeah. And so we love to just talk to people about the challenges that they face with their time and some strategies that you may have put in place to sort of help with those challenges that you've faced.
Yeah. I think my biggest one is it's okay to say no to something, which I learned. I think when you start out in whatever career you're in, you just want to be a yes man because you just want them to think you're a good worker and you're like consistent. And I think I was always yes, and then to a point where you burn yourself out. So I have now learnt my sort of boundaries around going. They might go, hey, can you go? Would you want to be able to MC this or something? And I'll think, oh, I've actually got this and this on either side of that, so I'll probably be knackered. So I'll go, I can't that week. And like, but knowing that it's okay, and like, they're not going to go, oh, she's shit, because she won't do it. That one time she won't do it, she's terrible. So learning to say no, even like, my boyfriend always cracks me up. His name's Taina, and he says he always knows when I'm done, like social battery done, which is quite hard because I'm a social butterfly. But I'll just say to him, I'm like, hey, battery's done. I'm pretty keen to go. And he'd be like, sweet. And so just me knowing when I'm done and not trying to push until I'm like grumpy or like, or take days to recover and just want to like recoil. I never want to get myself to a point where I am just spending a week at home because I've done too much the week before. If I can just even myself out, not spread myself out too thin, not feel like I need to do everything, like actually delegating as well. Yeah. A bit of a control freak, so, you know, that happens. It happens to the best of us. Yeah. But I think just, that no has probably been the best thing for me, just knowing when to say no. Yeah.
And I think too that you've, you know, like just saying that your batteries run, you know, we're empty. Having those conversations where your people know that ahead, you don't have to explain anything past that. Not like, hey, I've had a big week, so and as a result, I'm feeling really, really tired right now. Yeah. Battery's done.
Battery's done. Yeah. Battery's done. Can we just go home and just chill out?
Having those conversations ahead of time, or them knowing you that well, it just makes life so much easier. They're not like, oh, babe, just half an hour more. Yeah. And they're like, battery's dead.
It's even like, even things like, you'll be out with friends and you might be drinking or something like that. I'll be like, I'm tired, I'm going to go home. And I just go. And like, I'll go, hey, see ya. It's not like, oh, I want to go, but I'm really scared what they're going to say. Like, which is what I was like when I was younger, and I would just push the boat out. And now, like, even on Friday night, I emceed a boxing match, and a couple of my mates were there too, and we were, at the corporate tables, you get to drink wine or whatever.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, I feel like going out. And they were like, what? Because I never do, not recently. Ever since I had a big concussion this year, I barely ever, because I'd make it till 10, I'm like, I'm done, because I just have headaches and stuff. But I've finally gotten to a point where I'm feeling better. I was like, I'm keen to go out. And I tell you what, we went to maybe 2 places. We were there for all of an hour, and I was done. But it was like, I could do it, and then I knew, I'm tired now. I'm pretty keen to go home, maybe get some chicken nuggets on the way home, and then, that's it, and then go to bed. Yeah. And there's been times where me and my partner went to a big festival. It was raining. I was off it. I was like, I don't want to be here. No. And then I was like, well, if I go home, he can stay. It's not like he has to come home with me. So I was like, you know what? Just text me later. I'm going to go home. I literally went home, had a shower, and just went into bed and could not care less. And just knowing those, knowing when you're done is such a good thing. And knowing that no one actually cares if you're going to go home. No. And no one good will care. No. You might have
they'll make a little fuss. Like, oh, are you sure?
And I'm like, yes bye. Or, hey, worst case, smoke bomb. Just go and they don't even say anything.
Oh, no, I'll stay.
Yeah. I'll just go, I'm going to the toilet.
The queues were so long.
Yeah.
I was going for like 4 hours. So how, for portion distortion, for the last part of this, how important is it for you to do things in the time that you have that bring you joy?
It's so important. Yeah. I think if I only like a year or so ago, I was just work. Felt like I didn't have a life out of it. And I do have some friends, like one of my best mates, she actually works in the radio industry as well, at a station across the road, at our competing station at Flavour. So very similar lifestyles. We work at opposite ends of the day, but the way she has always said to me, like, you need to make sure you're doing all your other stuff. Like I think because I'm doing long distance with my boyfriend, I was always in Wellington, or I was always doing this, and I was trying to just do it all. And she's like, when's the last time you hung out with your friends? Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And we looked at photos of us together, because we always take photos when we're going out, or, hanging out somewhere. Yeah. It was a month prior that I'd see my friend, who I usually would see every couple of days. Wow. And so I think it was just like, yes, boyfriend's a priority, but I need to have my own time too. Yeah. And yes, work's a priority, but I don't need to stay here till God knows when, because I think I need to do some extra stuff for tomorrow. Do it from home. Yep. Just those little boundaries and stuff like that. So I'm still trying to figure that out. And even over the break, it's like, I've got it all planned to a T. I've got 4 weeks off. And I'm like, okay, this day I'm going to Wellington to have Christmas with my partner's family. Then we're up to Papamoa with my family. Yeah. And then after that, I'm sending him home, and then I've got 2 weeks with my friends. And it's like, and I know that's not for everyone. Some people are a bit more go with the flow, but I think I have to be like that, stay regimented about it. It's probably that army brat, upbringing in there. I've just got to have everything planned out, but just making it a priority, and just even having other people remind me, hey, you need to have some of your own time. Or I'll say to Tana, I'll go, oh, I can come down that weekend. I'll come to Wellington that weekend. He goes, yeah, but when's the last weekend you had up in Auckland? And he'll go, no, you stay that weekend. I'll go, okay. And it won't be till then I'll go, oh, stuff you. I've come down here again and lost time with my friends. He's like, well, you bought the tickets down, Yeah. So I think it's cool having people that kind of hold you accountable as well, to make sure that you make yourself a priority too.
We interviewed Deb from Stoke DNZ, the Charlies, a little while ago, and she had a line, and I'm pretty sure I looked down the barrel as she said it, and I was like, realization. Yeah. You can have it all. And you can do it all, not all today. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. And you can't, not everything can happen today. Yeah. So it's just knowing where your boundaries and limitations are, and knowing it's okay to do some tomorrow. Yeah. Things.
We're not saving lives. No one's going to die.
No one's going to die.
Unless you're a doctor or something, like.
What a way to finish. Yeah. End scene. No. We have some quick fire questions for you to finish off today. Okay. What are 3 things that made you smile today?
Our receptionist, Braden, he is the sweetest little angel. I don't know if you guys had him on the way in, but he always makes me, and he always says, hey, Queen. That's what he always says when we walk in. He always makes me smile. I think, what else made me smile today? Oh, I made a really good coffee this morning. That's a bit self-indulgent, eh? I made myself smile. And what else made me smile? Probably you guys coming in. It was just nice to do something a little bit different and meet some new people. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. We're glad we put a smile on your face. What are some of your favourite books? Favourite books? I can only think of one off the top of my head, and that is Lily Allen's biography. I can't remember what it's called, but it is the best book I've ever read. And it was really cool. And I think for especially any wāhine that are growing up sort of early 20s, it's a really cool book to read because she has a way of articulating different sort of challenges you go through as a woman, you know, and it's her going through her fame journey and what she learned along the way as her career had its ebbs and flows. So I think it's a really important book to read to just understand being a woman and how you don't always get it right and you don't have to be perfect.
And you don't, that's the key bit. You don't have to get it right.
Yeah.
What are 3 favourite smells?
3 favourite smells. I love the smell of the Sex Wax air freshener in my car. I love the smell of just anything like the Bum Bum spray. It's not actually called Bum Bum. It's there's Bum Bum cream. You get it from Mecca.
Yeah.
I've got the moisturizer, the lip balm, the spray, everything. But it's called I think it might be pronounced Bum Bum, but it's spelled like Bum Bum.
Bum Bum.
So that's probably my anything Bum Bum. Sol Janeiro, I think it's called. And then 3rd smell, scrambled eggs and bacon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like a breakfast. Good breakfast.
What a way to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
What makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh? Probably anyone I do the show with, we always make sure this is like a little like area of laughter. My partner makes me laugh every single day. And to be honest, I make myself laugh.
Nice. So do I.
Yeah.
What was your first job?
First job, I was a checkout chick at Countdown. I used to do checkout at Countdown in Palmerston North. Yeah, loved it. And then I left and went to, not long after I went and was a shoe salesman at Hannah's.
Oh, you have brought joy in both of those.
Wait, just lots of talking, lots of this. Yeah.
Those shoes are wonderful. Yeah. What are some of your go-to pick-me-up songs?
Go-to pick-me-up songs. There's a song it's a remix by Soleil. It's called So Hooked on Your Lovin'. It's a really nice like house music song. What's another pick-me-up song? Anything Bob Marley, probably. Yeah, that'll probably be it.
Nice. 3 things that you're grateful for today.
Grateful for today. I'm grateful for my job and what I get to do every day, the platform that I get to hold. I am grateful for the gym because yesterday I was feeling stressed and I went and it felt amazing. And what else am I grateful for? And I'm grateful for my partner. Yeah.
Nice. Shout out Taina.
Yep, shout out Taina. He's annoying most of the time, but he's all right sometimes.
They all are. What is your favourite concert?
Favourite concert? Okay, it's a bit of a tie. I loved when I went to Drake when I was like 20 and it was incredible at Spark Arena. But also, one of my favourite live performances I've ever seen was Drake's project at R&V one year. They are so talented and I love that they're like homegrown as well. So probably Drake's project is the best live performance, but Drake was like the best concert.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hobbies?
Oh God, not many. I feel like it sounds terrible, but my hobby is doing my job, which is kind of like, sometimes I need to find a little bit of a work-life balance there, but probably hobbies just like hanging out with mates, literally. That's it. Real boring, but that's it.
No, hobbies can totally be work.
Yeah.
If you love what you do, and it's a craft that you're building and, you know, if you don't come in and do the same thing and say the same thing every day, you're building it.
Wow, actually, our producer said today that we've done 220 shows this year. And I went, oh my God, I've been here for 4 years. I've done nearly 900 shows.
Yeah.
And I said, I've had to come up with something to say 900 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, God. That's so exciting. And at the end of next year, I would have done 1,000. I'm like, that's so crazy.
They need to tell you before your 1,000th show.
Yeah, and I'm like, yay! Like a little bit of a milestone.
And then be like, I'm just going to pick an old one and just say the same thing that I said on the 620th.
That's a good idea.
Bring April in and do the changing person.
Oh, how crazy was that? How about Mum and Dad didn't even realise?
That's gold.
And I told my mother, I said, Mum, on April Fool's, I'm going to bring April in and switch us out. Oh, crack up. That'd be so funny. And then it's happening. And she just goes, oh my God, because April's so shy compared to me. I'm blah, blah, blah. And she's so much more reserved. And Mum was like, because April was just being a bit quiet, she goes, I just thought you were being grumpy or something. Because or something had happened. And I was like, no, God, that was your other daughter. You should know this.
Priceless. No, the video, that was so funny.
Yeah.
What does a recovery day look like for you? We say lazy, but we don't say lazy anymore. What does a recovery day look like for you? How do you refill the tank?
I actually love, as like cliche as it sounds, I do love a Netflix day. But I love a Netflix day that's been like a reward after maybe doing some chores at home.
Yeah.
I actually, as I've gotten older, I love cleaning the house. And like, it's definitely not a thing where like, because I live with some other people, it's not like I'm going, you guys going to help clean? I'm like quite happy to do it, quite happy to sit down and then like maybe get some Uber Eats or something and just like sit down and watch some Netflix. Like I'll do a thing where I won't watch things through the week. I'll save them for like a weekend if I know I've got a free day. Like I haven't watched the new Wednesday or whatever on Netflix.
So good.
I've heard, so I'm saving it for when I finish work.
Yeah.
So then I can just actually enjoy it rather than going, oh, can I jam an episode, you know?
Yeah. It's really good. Qualities you love about yourself?
Oh God. What do I love about myself? I feel like I'm really good at letting things go if I need to, which is kind of ironic considering I'm quite anxious, but I think I'm good at just like sitting with something and then going forward and not like holding on to it, so not holding grudges. I think I love that I'm self-deprecating. I think you have to have a laugh at yourself before anyone else does. And I don't think I could do this job if I wasn't self-deprecating. And I also love that I'm always hungry and not for food, not for food. I mean, hungry to, you know, achieve more or do more. I feel like I've never quite hit the mark yet. I'm always trying to strive for something else, okay. But also sometimes hungry.
DG's book, David Galbraith's book is for you.
Okay.
In that case,
right.
You will love it.
Oh, cool.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you so much for watching. There are so many takeaways. I can't wait to A, see the repeat of this, and B, see all the clips, and C, get all of the feedback, because this is amazing stuff. And it's just someone who is living truth and not getting it right all the time.
No, not at all.
Friggin' working at it, which is just awesome. So thank you so much for your time today, Tegan.
Thank you.
And let us know what you think, and check out the other videos, and we'll see you soon. Ka kite.